Yes, well, my name is Alan Montgomery Goss. I mention Montgomery because my grandmother came out in the 1860s, 1867, on a ship, the Montmorency, which was burnt soon after she arrived in Napier, and the wreckage of that, of the Montmorency, lies down at Port Ahuriri, about which we're going to talk today. I was born in Waghorn Street to Ruby and Roy Goss, had a sister, and interestingly, a sister who died, who I never met. Her name was never mentioned until one Christmas day. There was a picture on my uncle's wall of a little girl, and I said, "Who is that?" And nobody responded, which shows how in those days people regarded death. It was a much more private affair. I went to the Port Ahuriri School, an old wooden building which has now been replaced, and then to the Napier Boys High School. And after that, eventually the war came. I served overseas and then resumed work in the State Advances Corporation, in the Hawke's Bay Education Board, and later went into the youth department of the Presbyterian Church and became an ordained minister. My grandfather and grandmother and my aunt were living in Battery Road. My grandmother came out in 1867 as a girl of 20, or perhaps even younger than that. She was maybe 17, and got married about the age of 21. My grandfather was a cabman, and he used to drive the cab from Napier to Waipawa. Apparently he had some adventures on that journey. They were once held up by robbers or something like that, and he obviously had a fairly adventurous life in that regard. He did once say how he remembers how he once saw a shark from his home in Battery Road. It's still there, number 54 Battery Road. He saw a shark just opposite his home, which goes to show that in those days a lot of water, the sea, surrounded Hawke's Bay much more than it does today. That's why in the very early days Napier, or Port Ahuriri, was called the Spit, and the people who lived there were called Spittites. Well, growing up, I think, was just like everybody growing up today. Life, of course, was much more simple. There was no television. We didn't have a car. There were no distractions in that way. So life was much more intimate. We knew the next door neighbours, we knew the people around us, and they were all, as it were, woven into our lives. They were a part of our lives, without us actually consciously being aware of that.